Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday message for, wow, May 5th, 2024, Cinco de Mayo. So, good morning and welcome to everyone. When I began writing my talk, and of course, today's talk title is about the feminine face of God, my mind automatically went to the differences in the masculine and feminine ways of being. Our energies are different, the way we think are different, all that type of stuff. And yet, what I began noticing around me, that we really don't, on a large part, have those strict defining, roles and aspects that we held even 20 years ago. So when I look at parents, my son and daughter's age, all in their 40s, men are doing things that, gosh, when I grew up, only women were doing, and vice versa. So the other day I was at my son's house and my granddaughter wanted to paint my son's nails. So he sat there while my granddaughter put nail polish on him. And of course, it's the type that washes off with soap and water. But still, it's the aspect that he was absolutely fine with her painting his nails, putting bows in his hair. He stopped at doing makeup, but, but basically, whatever she wanted to do, he was okay with it. And he even gave her a hug when she was done, telling her what a good job she did. And to me, I just sat there and chuckled. Isn't this awesome that men nowadays feel so good about themselves that, yeah, if you want to paint my nails, fine, put bows in my hair, okay, whatever. And this level of compassion for another being has been thought of as a feminine trait. And yet today, with all the energies flooding into the earth, more and more people overall are opening themselves to this greater aspect of what God really is. We say that God is all things. Well, that then has to mean that God is, as pure energy, is all things, all energies, all aspects of life, both what we would call masculine and what we would call the feminine. So for us here today, we don't think of God as, the man on the throne ready to dole out punishment to us. We, as unity people, have a greater understanding that God source, being only creative energy, is both masculine and feminine. There's dozens of times in the Bible that God is referenced in the feminine form, from how, nursing her children, giving birth to the greater, comforting one as a mother does, and really dozens more. And actually, for thousands of years before the Christian church actually took over, God was actually looked at as both masculine and feminine. Some philosophies teach that Jesus came in to represent the masculine energy of God, and that Mary came in to represent the feminine energy of God. And since we are celebrating the month of May, or Mary's month, it's really probably a good time to look at some of those feminine qualities or feminine energetic aspects that we actually all possess. Your masculine side gets expressed when you're working toward a goal, making progress, getting things done, pushing forward, being very organized. All that is considered more of the masculine aspect. But your feminine side gets expressed when you move into the flow of life, embrace your creative energy, like dance, play, attune to your internal process in life. So what are some of the more divine feminine aspects of our being? And the first and foremost one is intuition. And this is an extremely powerful tool to use in your everyday life. It can help you know what choice to make, which people are loyal to you. I can actually even predict the future to some extent. Initiation is a quality of the divine feminine that both men and women can manifest it once they've started to embrace that feminine side. Intuition's been developed by women from the earliest stages of humanity when, while men were out hunting, they were gathering fruit and vegetables and needed a way of telling the edible ones from the poisonous. In this way, women needed to develop their extra sensorial senses or supernatural abilities more than men. And due to the fact that society was dominated by men and they were discriminated against because of their more fragile bodies, they needed to develop other qualities to protect themselves. As an example, sensing or inner knowing that something was wrong with a child, a friend, or even not to go down to the river to get water at some point because there might be a predator there. So having that increased intuition, as we're learning today, intuition is a skill and it's something that can be developed. So we also have enhanced creativity. And creativity is a very useful skill to have, as it really can manifest in every area of your life, whether it's work, hobbies, relationships, things around the house, whatever. So creativity used correctly can actually bring in your financial resources. What about all those video games that are out there that are actually creative outlets for those people, sitting down to develop them? We have artists, writers, chefs, gardeners. I could go on and on with all the different businesses out there that are actual examples of creativity and expression. So the feminine aspect of God, of creativity and self-expression, occurs in the greatest way when you're in touch with your intuition and living from your heart. Another sign of divine feminine is communication. And communication is definitely a quality of the divine feminine. The divine feminine in all of us is highly focused on growing and nurturing relationships. And for that, it needs good communication skills. We all know that communication is the core foundation of any relationship. Now, women have had the chance to develop communication from the early stages of humanity, because they spent a lot of time with one another, cooking, gathering. And while doing that, they used communication to make time pass. So, they used to talk to each other, listen to each other's sorrows, offer advice and support, and so on. And also in a family, the side that represents the divine feminine actually will be more responsible for communication and will be more aware of its crucial importance. And I'm not talking about the female in the male-female relationship, because I know some men who are much better at communicating than the woman is. So whatever type of relationship you are in, if you are in a relationship and you identify with the feminine aspect of God in a more heightened way, be aware that you have the amazing power of communication, which you can use to strengthen your relationship and to bond with your partner more. So another one is increased empathy. Empathy is another representative quality of the divine feminine. You can't live in feminine energy if you're not empathetic. Empathy is a core quality of the divine feminine that helps develop communication and intuition as well. So, empathy is this amazing ability to put yourself in the other person's shoes, feel what they feel, understand and accept their pain or sorrow. And every time you see someone experiencing a life altering situation, whether positive or negative, just try to imagine how you would feel in their position. Allow yourself to feel deeply what you would feel in that position. And whatever anyone else does, never judge them. Because that moves us into deep compassion. Compassion and empathy go hand in hand, as empathy helps another person develop compassion as well. And when you're very empathetic and feel other people's pain and sorrow, the next natural step is to feel compassion for them. Compassion is a very strong, positive feeling that brings a lot of dharma or positive karma into your life. And whenever you feel compassion for someone, know that you are aligned with your divine feminine self, and allow yourself to act out on compassion. Doing a little act of kindness, help, or providing love and support to those who need it is a definite aspect of actually walking out in compassion to the world. The next one would be acceptance. As masculinity is all about action and changing things, femininity, in contrast, is built on acceptance and peace. Acceptance comes with a light feeling of detachment, and the things that used to hurt you or trigger you in the past actually, in a sense, don't touch you anymore on that deep, deep emotional level anymore. Acceptance is considered to be a superior state of consciousness that actually comes after experiencing all the heavy feelings a human can experience. Acceptance of what is when you find the power to be at peace, even in the midst of the scariest storm, whether it be literal or emotional. And it provides a real solid foundation for a peaceful life for yourself. And once you learn to accept things, the aspect of understanding starts coming in. The divine feminine is full of understanding. And understanding stems from compassion and acceptance, because when you feel compassion toward people and what they're going through and accept them for who they are, then part of you that would get upset over something just isn't there any longer. Understanding means reaching a point in which you know that there are no bad people, only hurt people, and that human beings only make mistakes out of pain and hurt. And that's when you can choose to understand anyone's reasons for doing anything, and becoming upset over things turns into compassion for that person. Probably the last one there is forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools to have in life. Forgiveness is built upon compassion, empathy, and understanding. And when you can put yourself in someone else's shoes, and when you can understand possibly their reason for doing anything or saying anything, and you have compassion for them, you can find that you can actually forgive them very quickly. So at the opposite pole from forgiveness is anger, resentment, and the wish for revenge. A Buddhist proverb says that being angry with someone is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Anger, resentment, and revenge will mostly hurt you more than the other person. The wise divine feminine in all of us already knows this. And any person who has integrated their divine feminine finds it actually very easy to forgive another. So aligning with your divine feminine actually will bring you more happiness, inner peace, and actually a sense of freedom. Living from the heart. Masculinity is all about being rational and using wisdom, reasoning, logic when making decisions, whereas femininity is about making intuition-based decisions that actually stem from the heart. And living from the heart also includes being compassionate, empathetic, kind, and embracing all the amazing qualities your heart has. When you live from the heart, it comes naturally to form a relationship based on love, acceptance, and mutual trust, which leads us to kindness. And kindness is the ultimate trademark of the divine feminine. The divine feminine, all of us, knows that kindness is the best default mode of operating. As everyone is trying their best to succeed, but we all make mistakes. Hopefully only occasionally, but some are still making mistakes all the time. But a person who has truly embraced the divine feminine within them will always show kindness toward all living beings, as they've already integrated forgiveness, compassion, and empathy in their way of being. When you've learned to forgive people, to put yourself in their shoes, and to show compassion, how can you be any other way but kind? In my personal opinion, kindness is probably the main trait of a spiritually elevated human being. And of course, there's gentleness. To contrast the divine feminine and the divine masculine, I'll speak about gentleness. The divine masculine is strong, less emotional, feisty, and often merciless in some ways. So just think about the times when men had to hunt in order to keep their families alive or kill wild beasts to defend someone from danger. Would they have managed to do that if they had mercy and compassion toward the animal? And most likely not. They had to be strong to be able to put food on the table, in a sense, for their families. Women, on the other hand, couldn't have raised babies if they were feisty and masculine and all of that, because a young baby needs care, empathy, compassion, as the child needs its mother to fulfill its most basic needs. So there are times in life when we all have to be a bit merciless and feisty. For example, when we have to defend ourselves from something or someone or take a stand for what's right in a situation. At the same time, there's times when we have to be kind and gentle. So a person who has integrated both their masculine and their divine feminine can easily tell the difference between these two types of situations. And they'll always know how to respond with the more correct energy. So we have both divine masculine and divine feminine qualities in us. And a truly balanced person has learned to integrate both of those sides and to manifest mainly the best qualities they possess. So as I look around life these days, I see more and more the balance of the two qualities in more and more of the people I meet. And of course, I really see it in the unity people I know. So, this being the first Sunday in May, I'm going to wish everyone a very happy May. And God bless each and every one of you. So, take care. Have a beautiful, beautiful week and enjoy May.